It's a beautiful morning today. I'm your host today, Carl Mike, and I'm with my co-host, Mr. Big Mo. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, good morning, Carmike. Good morning, everybody out there joining us.
All right, so tickets was punched yesterday for the women's man. Paige. Paige was balling. Paige dropped 30 points, three games straight, man. She stamped herself as the third highest scorer in UConn women's history, man. How we feel about UConn, Paige going into the Final Four.
First of all, UConn is playing their best basketball this season since the tournament started. And Paige Buckets, she's been getting it done from the jump. So I'm not surprised at what she's done. I'm impressed that UConn is where they're at. I actually thought their season would end the last game, and yet they found another way because she's playing at an elite level right now. It's interesting because obviously, minus Juju Watkins, you thought USC can only go so far, but they played really well. Like they were in that game until UConn pulled away a little bit. It just goes to show you how talented USC is. I would have loved to see Juju versus Page. Maybe we get that in the WNBA at some point. But look, UConn has a legitimate shot to win it all. I actually think they've become the favorites now. But I'm going to be consistent. I still think, for whatever reason, I always roll with Don Staley. So we'll see what happens with South Carolina.
Do you think that UConn would have made it past if Juju was in the lineup yesterday?
Look, most people will say no because the game was close without her, right? But games play out differently, right? If Juju plays, then Juju primarily has the ball. And I remember last year when they were in the NCAA's, they went away quietly. USC did because teams just kind of bottled Juju up. So I don't know. I'd like to think that if Juju played, that USC would have won, but there's no way you can't predict how games play out. It would have been different. UConn would have played USC differently. I would argue that because she didn't play.
I don't know. You don't think Juju's a little bit more seasoned, man? She could have carried him.
She's a little bit more seasoned, but Paige Becker's even more seasoned. I just think the game plays out differently. So I know USC fans will be like, if she had a play, yeah, we'll be doing the if thing, but I won't. I'll move on because we'll never know. What I do know is UConn's they're in the Final Four with a legitimate shot to win it all.
So you rolling with UConn versus you against UCLA?
The prediction is a lot of people think UCLA is the favorite, and look, I get it. UCLA is low. They're loaded. They're explosive. I think they have more offensive firepower than UConn. I think UConn might be a little bit deeper. I think if Paige Beckers beats UCLA, it'll be very impressive. I mean, look, I know she's on a mission because statistically she's right up there with a lot of the UConn greats. But to really be put up there with them, what do you got to do? You got to win it all, right? So I'm sure she's on a mission because this is her last year. She'd like to win it all. But UCLA is going to be an incredible test for them just to be able to match up with that firepower.
Texas and South Carolina. Who you rocking with, man? I think South Carolina gonna take it.
I'm going with South Carolina, but I will say this: Texas is one of the few teams that can match up with South Carolina when it comes to their size and their physicality. So I think this is going to be a grinded out game. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to roll with Don Staley and company because when it comes to going after 50-50 balls, doing the little things that turn the tides in games and close games, South Carolina just finds different ways to win. I don't care if it's with rebounding, defense, or somebody who's their fourth or fifth leading scorer stepping up and having a big game. That's all about Don Staley. Those young ladies are a reflection of their head coach.
Yeah, the ladies is balling. Want to show the ladies some love, man. NCAA Player of the Year men's side, man. Who you going with? Everybody think Cooper Flagg is hands down solidified for the award, man. But I don't know. I think Johnny Broome got a good chance, man. He been hooping for Auburn.
Broome's been hooping all year. He's a terrific player, but I think it's Cooper Flagg's I think he's going to win Player of the Year. But if you're Johnny Vroom, the real question is, you have a shot to win it all, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what's more important? Winning it all is more important. So I would say that he's still in the hunt for that.
Winning it all is important, man. But getting that award is also a big accolade, especially if you about to go into a draft.
No, it's a great accolade. And I think both of their games translate well to the next level. Obviously, Cooper Flagg is more of a perimeter player than Broom is, but I think they're both going to be really effective at the next level. Look, I enjoy watching Cooper Flagg play and listening to people hype him up, and now they're like, if he wins it all, is he the greatest Duke player of all time? And of course he's not.
All time?
Of course he's not. No, he's not. That's crazy talk. Like, you don't have to like Christian Laettner. Most people didn't like Christian Laettner, but Christian Laettner is the greatest Duke player ever. It's not Grant Hill. It's Christian Laettner. If you actually follow college basketball,
are we talking numbers or are we talking skill?
I'm not talking about skill. I'm talking about your college career.
Oh,
okay. This is how it goes. We're not talking about what they did in the pros or what they projected to be or their potential. Christian Laettner is actually one of the greatest college basketball. Never mind Duke. He's one of the greatest college basketball players of all time. I love Grant Hill. He's not in that conversation. Christian Laettner is, though.
Better than Jordan?
Huh?
Christian Laettner better than Jordan?
His college career? I would say it was. When Jordan won a championship, he wasn't even the best player of his team. Christian Laettner was the linchpin of those Duke teams. Look, I did I think I did a reel the other day, and I was pointing out, like, look at Christian Laettner in all the big games. Like, I remember when they matched up against LSU, and LSU had Shaq, they had Chris Jackson, aka Mahmoud Rauf, they had Stanley Roberts, who actually was more skilled than Shaq, and Christian Laettner gave Shaq that work. So I'm just saying he's not beloved, but as I'm strictly talking about college. As a college basketball player, he's by far I don't even know why people they leap to Grant Hill. Like, you see some of the pundits go, the greatest player is Grant Hill than Christian. No, it's Christian Laettner then Grant Hill.
So you see any upsets happening in the Final Four? Because everybody got the odds of Duke and Florida for the champion, the big game, man. Do you see any upsets happening here?
I think Houston has a chance to upset because of their style of play. I get why. I understand why Florida is favored, and I understand why Duke's favored. Look, I do think that's who it'll be, but do I think there could be an upset? I'm going to look at Houston. Houston's style of play, the way they
upset Duke, one of the most dominant in the tournament.
I mean, that's why they play the games, man. You know what I mean? They don't just show up and go, well, you're better than us. That's not how it works. And I do believe pressure busts pipes. The pressure's not on Houston to win it all. They want to win it all, but Duke's kind of been considered the best team in the nation most of the year. If there's pressure on anybody, it's on Duke, not on Houston. So anybody that underestimates Houston or underestimates Auburn, that would be their mistake.
I don't know, man. I think Florida would probably be the one that could possibly get upset by Auburn if Broom is 90% healthy. I don't think he's gonna be 100 going into this game, but 90% healthy.
If he's 90%, they losing. They're gonna need this dude to be as close to 100% as possible, and 90 is not close enough.
Florida been having a lot of close games down on this from the Sweet 16 down, man. Like, I don't know. I think Auburn could take it. They look a little vulnerable, but Clayton, he been very clutch, man. Like, I don't know where he pulling it from, but he's been very clutch lately for Florida, man. If he wasn't hitting some of them shots he was hitting, kind of getting in his little Steph Curry bag, I think Florida would have been out of there already.
Clayton was amazing, and I think I'm not saying he's going to duplicate what he did the last game, but they are going to need him to play at a high level to get to the championship game. No question. Florida's played some close games, but Auburn is so dependent upon their big man and what he does. Like, so much of what their offense is how teams react off of him. I just think they need him playing as close to 100% as possible. And I look, as a fan, I hope he walks into that game 100%, because I like the idea that it's going to be a close game. I think I don't see a blowout these last couple of games. I think both games are going to be competitive games.
I think Duke got a good chance of blowing out their team because they've been holding teams at bay 6 to 10 points the entire game. So
it's going to be interesting. I want to see what happens to Duke when somebody punches them in the mouth. and because they're really, look, Duke's a terrific team, but they're really good at being up. I want to see what happens when they're in a tight game and the other team isn't backing off. They're just as physical or athletic, because up until this point, nobody's really challenged them.
I mean, how could they though, man? Duke has too many players who can get hot and go off out there. Like you got Knipple, like who's seen him coming dropping 21 points. Proctor, you leave him open. He's like Clayton. He's gonna knock it down. Then Flag, he's he's all around grabbing boards. He's playing defense. He's diming people for the back. Duke do a lot of backdoor alleys that I don't understand that nobody even paying attention to. Like as a coach, you gotta understand. Hey, when they do this, they send in the back door for something. Watch your backside. Like they get a lot of backdoor alley use that I don't understand how people don't like pay attention to it, man. Like
they do a good job of moving the ball. And if you turn your head because you're trying to get to that corner and respect the shooter, when Flag turns the corner and he's in the restricted area, instantly teams react to him and he's already lobbing the ball up to their big. I mean, you see it over and over and over again. I look, to me, the adjustment is you have to attack his handle. You can't react to what he does. You have to attack his handle and make him react to what you do.
Yeah, Alabama did do a good job. They caught a few of those lobs that Cougar Flag was trying to throw up, man. But it ended up being Proctor having to step in and knock down a three down, holding Bama off, and then you had Knipple who had an absolute mismatch. It was just playing bully ball with the kid, man. It was crazy.
Well, don't forget, look, Alabama was done once Duke decided they were going to make a focal point to shut down Sears, and they shut him down completely. Like he was 10 for 10 the game before from three. I think he was like 1 for 10 versus Duke. And Duke did a great job of ball denial. When he would give the ball up, they would not let him get the ball back late in the shot clock. That was so smart. Like they played a really, like I said, I think they played a 1-2-2. They always kept somebody on him. He's not big. I think at best Sears might be 6 feet, if that. And the guy they had on him was Cooper Flag. He's not going to shoot over him. So that was just good coaching.
Indeed. So moving to the NBA, Austin Reeves has been on an absolute tear for the Lakers, man, and they showed that they can step it up a little bit, play some defense, hold them off, man. Houston wasn't trying to go away that easy, but the more experienced team, in my opinion, has pulled it out from clutch play down the stretch. Are the Lakers starting to try to get their groove with what's going on, stepping into the playoffs? LeBron, Luka.
Look, I thought it was a good win. I don't think the Lakers played great, but you have to know who Houston is. And I'm going to give JJ Redick credit. He knows who Houston is. They don't have any shooters. If you want to know what the Rockets' Achilles heel is, they don't have any shooters. Name the shooter. They don't have one. Their best player, or you want to call best scorer, Jalen Green, he shoots like 42% from the field, shoots maybe 34% from three. That's not shooting, that's chucking. So they don't have a shooter. I think Fred VanVleet doesn't even shoot 40% from the field. He shoot under the NBA minimum from three. They don't have enough shooters. What they have is athletes. They have athletes. Smith can shoot a little bit coming off the bench, but he really can't create off the dribble. And Şengün, as big as he is, he's a big man that's really skilled, but he's got a finesse game. And I thought the Lakers did a good job of exposing that, because they had LeBron guarding him at different times, and he didn't do anything. Like If my big man is going to shoot 12 and 15-foot jump hooks, we're good with that. We'll take that all day. So I think it was a good win, but Houston is a good matchup for the Lakers because you already start off knowing they can't shoot.
Yeah, Green didn't do that well yesterday, man. You know, put 9 points, 5 assists, and like 9 boards. It was mainly Dylan Brooks was hitting some mid-rangers.
Dylan Brooks was
couple
okay.
Of threes.
Smith was okay. Look, the Rockets, if you look at that game, it was played at the Rockets' pace. The Rockets want to play at that pace, but they didn't shoot well. And the Lakers didn't shoot well. If you really look at the game, like Austin Reeves shot well, but LeBron didn't shoot well. Luka didn't shoot. It was kind of an ugly game. But like I said, I'll take a win any way you can get it. If you're a Rockets fan, I still think they're a player away from being a serious title contender. They just don't have enough shooting.
You don't think the young kid, the Thompson kid, you don't think he gonna step up into the Jalen Green's Robin, or because I know that we all know that Jalen Green's team.
If it's his team, then they're never going to be a serious contender. So that could be a problem. That could be a problem. He's a really talented scorer, but he's a streaky shooter at best. And the game he had last night, that's kind of part of the Jalen Green experience. I think the game before he had 30 points. This is who he is. That kind of guy can't be your best player, or at a minimum, if he's your leading scorer, he still can't be your best player. And right now, they consider him their best player, which is why. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't shock me if they leave in the first round. If you're going to rely on Jalen Green to shoot well, you're probably going to go home early.
I don't know. Maybe they're going to rely on Jalen Green to pace the game for them. Inside buckets.
I just think that they're a year away. I agree about Thompson, but I think Thompson's going to be that much better next season. He gets a little bit better. He's actually the more talented player. But he doesn't. But what he needs to be consistent at is his perimeter shooting. He doesn't have any kind of jump shot at all. Look at Torrey Eason, another athlete they have, terrific defender, great off the bounce, but he can't shoot. They just don't have any shooters. They've got a lot of slashers. They've got a lot of athleticism. They need somebody that no team can leave open. And right now, that's not on their roster. Like I get it. Green could go for 45 points tomorrow. And he'll turn around the next game and go for 11. That's just who he is.
Isn't Sengun like their best shooter on the team?
I mean, percentage-wise, but he's a center. Most of his work is in the restricted area. But you wouldn't have known it last night. Sengun was really frustrated. The Lakers did a really good job of bottling him up because they made him catch the ball 10, 12 feet from the basket, and he's trying to crab dribble on LeBron. That wasn't going to happen.
True. Defensive Player of the year. Guess who's in the running? Mr. Draymond Green himself, man. I think he's one of the top runners up there. I think it's him, Evan Mobley, Dort, and Dyson Daniels, man. Do you really think Draymond should be up in there?
I think so how people go, well, he should be in the conversation. I'm okay with him being in the conversation. He ain't gonna win, but he can be in the He can be in the conversation. Somebody can go like Draymond should get some recognition. Well, he's getting recognition. He's in the conversation. Evan Mobley's gonna win.
You think Evan's gonna win it?
Yeah, Dyson Daniels has no shot to win it. You can't. you can't talk about how good you are on defense and you're on a team that's under 500. You're not. Whatever you're doing defensively is not impacting the game enough.
Hey, but I mean, everybody know. Hey, Gary Payton, he wasn't always on a good team, but we still know he was one of the top defenders back there in the 90s, though.
Maybe, but when he won MVP or won DPOY, he was on a really good team.
So Evan Mobley or Draymond?
Oh, it's gonna be Evan Mobley. I don't even know if Draymond comes in second, but I think it's definitely gonna be Evan Mobley.
He up there. The odds is up there for him to get it this year.
I don't know how. We always talk about we reward winning. Evan Mobley is the defensive focal point on a team that's won 60 games. Draymond Green is on a team that's nowhere near winning 60 games. And Draymond was there.
20 games out from 60. About 20. The Warriors, they're like 20 games out from 60.
Yeah, well, last time I checked, there's only 8 games left in the season, so probably not a chance for them to catch him, right? We're not worried about that. All I'm saying, that same Draymond Green that's in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, he was in the Warriors when they was getting the brakes beat off him nightly before Jimmy Buckets got there. So he was part of that team. I get that they've played better, but they played better because Jimmy Buckets came and helped them play better, not because Draymond got better. He's the same Draymond. So
True.
I think Draymond's still a really good defender, but if you watch Warriors games or if you watched him the last couple seasons, he doesn't guard perimeter players, not anymore. He guards bigs now because he doesn't have the quickness to guard perimeter players. So I think he's still a terrific team defender, and he's really good at guarding bigs. I think Evan Mobley's better because even though he's 6'10", Evan Mobley can play in space. A lot of bigs can't play in space.
Evan Mobley has been really clutch on offense too for them, man. He been doing some stuff. I'm like, he's kind of a more athletic Chris Bosh-ish type player to me.
I could go that. I like that comp that he's a more athletic Bosh. Now he doesn't have Bosh's post game, but
no, he don't got Bosh post.
But I agree, athletic wise. And look, give him credit. The guy went out, got in the gym, got with a shooting coach, and he's turned himself into a respectable 3-point shooter that helps space the floor for them on offense. He's a good rebounder. I'm interested to see what Evan Mobley and company do in the postseason, but for Defensive Player of the Year, nobody would be more shocked than me if he didn't win it.
6-man, Peyton Pritchard, DeAndre Hunter, and Malik Beasley. Does Peyton, he's winning that by a landslide?
Oh, man, that's tough. The thing about DeAndre Hunter is...
Naz Reid, he's up there too. Naz Reid is up there still.
He's not winning. He's not winning. You know what Naz Reid is? He's in the conversation. I don't know if you can hang. He's in the conversation on your trophy thing, but that's what he's gonna get.
He's a 6-man right now, though.
He's not gonna win it. Where you're talking about, look at Pritchard and what team he plays for in their record, and look at the jump Pritchard made. I think Pritchard's averaging like 16, 17 points a game, shooting well over 40% from 3. Like, it's going to be Pritchard or Hunter. The only thing about Hunter is he did most of his work to even be in the running when he was with the Hawks. I'm wondering if they're going to – I'm wondering how that works in the voting, but I think it's going to come down to one of those two. I don't know which way that's going to go. I'm leaning towards Pritchard because Hunter – the Cavaliers had the best record in the East before Hunter became a Cavalier. So you can't say that he changed their fortunes. Whereas Pritchard's been there from day one with the Celtics, and they're still the second team in the West. So I'm leaning towards Pritchard, but I wouldn't be shocked if Hunter pulled it out.
Head coach of the year.
That's a good one. Kenny
Atkinson, JB Bickerstaff, or Ime Udoka for the Rockets.
All deserving. Ime Udoka's done a lot for the Rockets. He's built up their culture. They have a belief system that they didn't have before. But Kenny Atkinson, what he's done for the Cavs, I mean, they didn't make a big free agent pickup. They kept their core together, brought them back, and they opted for continuity, and they challenged Evan Mobley and Darius Garland to get better. They challenged Dean Wade to get better. Like, their guys on their bench got better. That's because of their coaching, because of their system, because of Kenny Atkinson. But I'll say this. I know the Cavs have the best record in the East by far. I would argue, though, the guy that coaches a team that only won 14 games last year to be the 6th seed in the East right now, and their core is like 23 and under, I would have to give Coach Bickerstaff a lot of love, man. Like, Detroit was in underwater, 14 wins. I mean, if they had won this year, right? If they had won 28 games this year, we would have said, man, they got a lot better. These guys are the 6th seed in the East. And you can see the development in all their young players. They brought in some veterans to solidify the locker room. Atkinson is my favorite, but I'm not mad at the idea of Bickerstaff winning because of that turnaround in Detroit. It's a big turnaround.
Huge, man.
Yeah, it's an insane turnaround. So I think Atkinson wins it, but Bickerstaff is a close second. Although with the brawl yesterday, that probably is not going to help his situation out. So,
I don't think that it goes into.
I'm just saying. I do. Look, you know, and I know those writers, those voters, they're human. They saw what I saw. They're probably like, "That's not a good look." It's not a good look.
So we gonna talk about the big boy, MVP. Shine Joker, close 1 and close 2. Joker playing crazy, insane, man. I think he was out, come back, and draw almost a 39-point triple double. He barely even tries out there. What it looked like to me, but he just does it so effortlessly, man. I don't. Who are you giving this to, man? Shy just because of the record, or are we talking an actual person who can carry a team like an MVP that should actually get it?
Again, I'm going to start with the premise that I thought we reward winning, right? We always talk about it's about winning. Well, Oklahoma City, they have a shot to win 70 games this year. So it's not like they're in the Nuggets are close to them in any metric. But here's the thing. Joker's averaging, I think he's doing 28, 12, and 10. By far the most impressive triple-double ever averaged in NBA history. He's shooting over 40% from the field. I think 50 or from three, 50-something percent from the field. Joker is as impressive an offensive player as statistically as you might ever see in the NBA. I still think he's the best player in the NBA, but we're doing numbers. Let's do all the numbers. He's the anchor on a team that offensively is the 4th-rated team in the NBA. He's also part of a team that's ranked 22nd defensively in the NBA. He's a big part of that part too. No, let's keep it a buck. There's more than one side to the floor.
It is.
Whereas Shai is the anchor on a team that's 3rd offensively in the NBA. He's also a big part of a team that's ranked number 1 defensively in the NBA because he's a great defender as well. So no, he is not Joker's equal offensively, but they're not like neck and neck defensively either. One of them is going to be an all-NBA defense. The other one will never make that. So I get it. Joker's great. And I think that when you look at his impact, just with his offensive excellence, he has a bigger impact than any player in the NBA. So both things can be true. Joker to me is still the best player in the NBA. But if Shai Gilgeous averages 32 points a game offensively and they've got the number 3 offense, if Shai Gilgeous plays all NBA defense and they've got the number 1 defense and his team has the best record in his conference, I think Shai Gilgeous should win the MVP. I think it's going to be a really close vote, by the way. I don't think it's a walk. But I think both things can be true. Joker no one's going to say he's not the best player in the league, but I think that Shai's deserving of winning MVP. And let's be clear, in the history of the NBA, the best player hasn't always won MVP. We could go back. Think about some recent MVPs. Derrick Rose was amazing the year that he won the MVP, but he wasn't the best player in basketball. They just awarded him the MVP. You know why they awarded it to him? Because he was the best player on the team that won, I believe, 62 games.
And number 1 in the East.
Right. But they did it off of the winning. They didn't out and out say, we know that Derrick Rose is better than LeBron James, because everybody knows he wasn't. And obviously we saw that in the playoffs. So again, the history of the NBA is really weird because they say they want to reward winning. I'm good with that. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of people say, well, Joker should win because he's the best player in the league. Like, well, the Thunder are the best team in the West by far, and Shai impacts both sides of the floor, and I think people need to give him his flowers for that. So, like I said, I think it's a close race. If I had a vote, I'd vote for SGA.
So, most valuable player, you going with how that player does with that team versus what they do individually?
No, I think Shai can stand on what he does individually. Remember, OKC swings the ball left or right. They have a lot more ball movement. Denver runs their offense all the way through Joker. I've said this before, and it's a fact. Joker is the first ball dominant center I've ever seen, but he is. He handles the ball as much as Luka, as much as James Harden, as much as LeBron. He's a very unique player because he's a ball dominant center, and we've never seen one like that. So I get it.
I think it's a different type of ball dominant center.
No, it's different because he's the first of his kind. I'm not arguing.
Shaq was ball dominant. I mean, Kobe feed me down low. Hey,
right, well, he's ball dominant because somebody fed him the ball, but Shaq wasn't gonna run your offense with his ball handling and passing. That wasn't gonna happen.
I mean, a lot of the time for the Magic and the Lakers, it was dump it down low. Kobe was tired of dumping it down low, man. But Shaq was giving you 34 and 20, 15?
No, he never averaged that much.
Who, Shaq? Yes, he did.
In the finals, he had big numbers like that. Do you know that? We're kind of drifting away, but do you know that Shaquille O'Neal, for all the dominance, for all the size, for all the greatness, never led the NBA rebounding once? How is that possible? You know why?
Too many buckets, man.
And he's lazy. Lazy. He was always lazy. Everybody knows rebounding is an effort thing. And as great as Shaquille O'Neal was, and I'm going back to even Orlando Shaquille O'Neal, who was the more athletic, quicker Shaquille O'Neal. Rebounding is about effort. Think about that. We can say that Shaq is the most dominant thing we ever seen in the NBA, and he never led the league in rebounding, not once. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Shaq was a dog, man, but I think he's just more different ball dominant center is what it is, man.
Well, Shaq's not ball dominant. He's just dominant in the sense that he gets in the restricted area and he demands the ball and you can't stop him. I mean, Joker can grab the rebound, dribble the ball up the court, and initiate the offense. We've never seen a center that could do that. And he passes not good for a center. He passes good for a guard. So it's a whole nother level in terms of what he does for you offensively. And then your center shoots over 40% from three. That's insane.
So you got like a Magic Johnson pass style mixed with a post scoring lazy Shaq style player.
I mean, he's very unique, and I like to live in the moment. In the moment, I've never seen a big man dominate the way he's dominated offensively, and yet be maybe the least athletic person on the floor. Right? Like Joker's never gonna be in a slam dunk competition, right? But he beats you with his skill and his high basketball IQ. He's that talented a player. It wouldn't shock me if he ended up winning MVP. I'm just saying that if I voted, I'm going to be consistent and say that I would vote for SGA. But I'll put it this way. Whether Joker wins this year or not, he's not done winning MVPs.
I can dig it. So the Suns, Mike Budinger, man, what do you think is going to happen with these Suns, man? Should they just go into a rebuild mode? I don't think KD's going to stay. There's no point in him even staying. He's about to turn 37 next year, yo. He's still a big number on the books next year. He under contract. So where did the Suns go from here after this season?
I think they part ways. I think after this when it was the trade deadline and they actually tried to move him and he found out about it and they didn't move him, I think that fractured the relationship. The locker room was already fractured. Budenholzer's a really good coach, but for whatever reason, the vibe between KD, Booker, Bradley Beal, and others, it didn't click with what Budenholzer wanted them to do.
He's a good coach, though. I don't understand
I'm not. I'm with you. I think he's a good coach, but I think you put a good coach in a situation with veteran stars that have all the pressure in the world to win now, and they're not going to win. They're not good. They're not a good basketball team. There's no chemistry. I think the Suns, the best move they can make is to have a fire sale. Yeah, you're gonna
fire sale.
Yeah, you gotta have a fire sale. Look, you can't give away Bradley Beal's contract, so he's not going anywhere. But KD still has value. Matter of
Bad
fact,
acquisition. I don't like that for them Suns, man. Bradley Beal was terrible.
I didn't either. I was saying don't do it before it happened, but think about this. We just talked about the Rockets and what they're missing. Well, what they're missing is Kevin Durant. They're missing somebody that can close and can shoot at a high level. Put Kevin Durant around all those dogs like Thompson, Eason, Smith, Dylan Brooks. Put him around those kind of dogs and let him be the closer. That's a completely different team. He would be a great fit there. KD can fit in any system. The only question is, what would the Suns want in return? As great as KD is, we have to remember he is 36. So what do you want in return for a 36-year-old perimeter player? I don't know. Do you hope that you get a number one out of it, or one and a two, and maybe a young piece, something like that? I just know that they're going to part ways. The only question is, do you keep Book? Because I think Book is still your centerpiece player, and he's still young enough that if you did a mini rebuild, Book could still be your guy. Or does
he shadow this year, man?
Yeah, well, it was an off year for everybody in Phoenix. I guess the question is, if you move KD and you give signs to Book that we're going to start fresh on a rebuild, does Book come to front office and go, look, I know what you guys are doing. I don't want to be part of another rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, no, I mean, let's keep it a buck. Book is he's in his prime. He's 30 years old. What he doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to wait for a 2 or 3 year rebuild because he'll be on the other side of his prime. So it wouldn't shock me if they move KD that Devin Booker wouldn't ask to be traded as well.
But why would they go that route when they had Ayton, CP3, Book, and they made a little run in the playoffs?
They went to the finals.
You blow the team up after that. Why? Why would you do that?
Because James Jones thought he was the smartest man in the room, and he proceeded to make panic moves, some of the stupidest moves I've ever seen. Think about this: if you leave it alone, accept the fact that younger guys, you have to have the patience to let them develop. If you leave it alone, you had Cam Johnson, you had Mikal Bridges. Just leave it alone. And what they did was they made a panic move and said, we got to go out and get a big name. We got to get a superstar. So you traded two guys that were in their early 20s for a superstar that's 35 or 34, 35 at the time, thinking that guy could take you on an incredible run. And that never happened. And that didn't make sense to me. Like, I get Book, and even Booker, because I know they were both on Team USA. I'm sure at the time Booker thought it's a great idea. They're gonna put me with KD. Like, that's why you don't make that move. That, you know, when that move looks really good and it pays off is when you're on 2K. When you're on 2K, the Booker Durant combination is lethal. When you're on 2K,
I think it's an actual point guard who can be a point guard.
Yeah, so everybody keeps saying that. They brought in Tyus Jones. The problem is they didn't let Tyus Jones be a point guard. What happened in Phoenix? They started letting the inmates run the facility. They did. Booker took over and became the primary ball handler, and he's
not a good ball handler.
No. But that's what happened. He made Tyus Jones a spot up shooter. What, you're not going to win like that. Here's another thing: if your three best players don't compete defensively, you're not going to be good either. Well, Durant don't play defense, Booker don't play defense, and Bradley Beal is like Olay. So if your three best players don't compete hard, and on offense you're in disarray, not shockingly, you're one of the worst teams in the NBA. And it's not
like Durant can't play defense though, because we've seen him do it with the Warriors, man. But the problem is,
says that.
Yeah, but because all he had to do was step on the other side of the court, score the ball when they passed it to him, and he went down to play defense.
Right. But you're talking about Kevin Durant from where we're at now, 7 years ago. Well, he's 7 years older, coming off an Achilles injury. And if we're being honest, you can't call somebody a good defense player off a 7-year-old reputation.
Oh, man. LeBron still play defense. He almost 40.
I don't know what to tell you. What I can tell you is LeBron James physically is the most blessed athlete in the history of sports, right? No, let's keep it a buck. Never had a major injury. and he's unique in his own right. We talk about unicorns. Tell me that another 6'9", 260-pound perimeter player that could move the way he moves. He's one of one. Look, I'm not, Magic could move, but we're talking different way. Like Magic could move, but whereas Magic is doing a layup, LeBron's dunking on you. It's a big difference.
Right. I mean,
it's a big difference.
He's more athletic. LeBron's more athletic.
Way more athletic than Magic. I mean,
but
like way more athletic.
Same play styles, man.
I think that's a perception that the media made up. They do not have the same play styles. LeBron James is a scorer first. This myth that we build up that you're not a pass first guy. In the history of basketball, nobody takes 20 shots a game as a pass first. He's not a pass first guy. It's a myth. It's never been true.
I mean, he's like 30, 35, man.
And he's absolutely not a pass first guy, right? All I'm saying is LeBron is a scorer who's a terrific passer, but he's a scorer first. That's just a fact. It's not like LeBron James has led the NBA in assists 11 times. He's led the NBA in assists in his whole career in 20 plus years one time. It's because he's a scorer first. So I think it's different. I think Durant. He did what?
I think he had to be a scorer though.
Everybody says that. He likes being a scorer. He don't have to be. When you shoot 20 times, it's not by accident. You like shooting. You like scoring. Here's the thing. Do we consider KD a scorer?
KD is an absolute scorer.
Right. But he doesn't take as many shots a game as LeBron because LeBron's a scorer. It's a perception. The reason why we perceive that LeBron is a pass first guy is we forget he's ball dominant. If you have your hands on the ball in a 24-second clock and you dribble the air out the ball and you decide whether you're going to score or set somebody else up, that's why it looks that way. Luka's ball dominant. Luka dribbles the air out the basketball, and then he'll finish with 9 or 10 assists. But we don't say Luka's pass first, but he averages as many assists as LeBron does. I just think it's a perception. LeBron James is a great player, but this myth that what's that line? He's the NBA's all-time leading scorer, but that's not even what he does best. And I'm like, no, that is what he does best. You just said it. He's the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Understand the words that come out of your mouth. He's a scorer. He's a great passer, but what he is first and foremost is a scorer. I guess the reason why we don't perceive him to be a scorer is it doesn't look the way it looks with Kobe. It doesn't look the way it looks with Durant or a Booker or a Michael Jordan. It's not as fluent. Like when you watch LeBron, he does like 3 things really well offensively, but you can't stop all 3 of them. Nobody can stop all 3 of them. And the one thing he can do that nobody's been able to do, especially this late in his career, he's 20 years in. He's 20 years in, Carmike, and he can still get to the rim like he's 25 years old. Nobody else has ever been able to do that.
I don't see the same bounce he got no more, man. He look like some of the times I'll be scared for him when he go up to dunk because he look like he's about to just get hung. I'll be like, scared for this man. Like, I don't want to see that happen at 40 because it'll be bad on TV.
No, I got you. And I've been there as well. But look, everything doesn't have to be a dunk. Like, he gets to the basket and he knows how to use his size and his strength to just bully his way to the basket. Like, that's unique. It's why he's a Mount Rushmore player. I think he's a
better passer than a scorer.
Well, that's because Cottrell sees him through. He sees him through beer goggles. I'm seeing I'm seeing him stone cold sober, so it's completely different. It's completely different. He's not a better passer than a scorer. What he is he's a scorer who's a terrific passer. He always has been. You don't average 27 points a game. Because you're a better passer, you're more of a scorer. It's who you are.
Oh, my fault, Cottrell. Cottrell said people think he's a better passer than a scorer. I mean,
no, well, my bad too. Then no, he's a better scorer. Look. I don't want nobody to get this confused. I think he's one of the greatest passers in NBA history, but he's a greater scorer than he is a passer. He just doesn't get the credit he deserves as a scorer.
Indeed. But I think he was more forced. I mean, look at the team he was on when he first started. He had to become a scorer. I mean,
You keep saying that, right?
Cleveland was trash, man. I don't care what nobody say. He carried that team, and that
Nobody would
team was
argue that.
garbage.
Nobody would argue that.
Ilgauskas, Larry Hughes. Larry Hughes was his running mate, and he.
I think was it Mo Williams? I think Mo was his running mate.
No, it was Larry Hughes was his number 2.
Mo Williams. Mo Williams. Hey, you know what Larry Hughes never did? He never made an All-Star team. Mo Williams did. If you don't make an All-Star team, you ain't nobody's number 2, unless you're Jamal Murray.
Hey, let's move on, man. Aaron Rodgers was seen in LA with DK throwing the ball, doing some Steeler concepts, but he still has not given the Steelers an answer. He leaving them on red right now, but he's on social media, doing his little thing in LA with DK. What is happening right now? What is he stalling, or is he trying to build up the hype for the Steelers? Like, I don't understand what's happening right now with Aaron Rodgers, man. Like, the Steelers is out here. They possibly could be picking up a Carson Wentz or somebody or running with Mason Rudolph because he's playing around with the money right now. What we doing here?
He's such a clown. Like Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm waiting for the Steelers to ask me out nicely. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to ask me out nicely. I want them to take me to a nice restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wants the Steelers to court him. I could get wanting to be courted if this was Aaron Rodgers at age 29 or 30. This is Aaron Rodgers at age 42. Why are we courting this dude? I would have moved off this dude. Like, why are you kissing up to a 42-year-old quarterback who's only going to come to your locker room and wreck your team?
Did you see Mike Tomlin's interview?
Yeah, I saw his interview.
He was up there sweating, man.
Right. He was sweating like he was being interrogated. Mike Tomlin is already feeling pressure from a guy that's not even on his roster yet. Do not sign Aaron Rodgers to 100%, acting like he has options. Right. Who else going to take Aaron Rodgers? Who else taking Aaron Rodgers? Like, at this point, it's the Steelers or bust, right? Where is he going to go? He ain't going to the Giants. Is he going to the Raiders?
I think it was leaning more Steelers, Vikings type for Aaron Rodgers, but
the Vikings made it clear they don't want that headache.
I don't think they do now. I mean, I don't think it's fair to be leaving a organization hanging in the balance like that so close to the draft time. We got to figure out what we're doing for draft.
That's facts. Don't you think Pittsburgh's doing that to themselves, though, right? Like, they could have re-signed one of their quarterbacks, and they let both of them get away. Like, you could have re-signed one of them because it's not like they cost a grip, and you still could have pursued Rodgers, but at least had a backup plan under contract.
I think they dumped all the eggs into Rodgers,
right? Which is the mistake. Did I miss something? Did the Steelers' offensive line become one of the best offensive line in football overnight? Because last time I checked, they had two quarterbacks. Even though Russell Wilson can't move like he used to, he can move better than 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and he took a beating. What do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to get for his troubles? Like, I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers, the only thing it does is speed up Mike Tomlin getting fired.
Browns have spoke out. The Browns owner spoke out, man, on Deshaun Watson. He said, we took a swing and we missed. So that tells to me that they're absolutely going quarterback in this draft, man. They're taking a hit. He said we got to move on from Deshaun Watson, even though he's going to be sitting on their books making a bag, stealing money. Another quarterback stealing money from Browns organization, man. It's looking like Shador or Cam. Well, Cam probably going number 1, but Shador's going number 2 to the Browns, man. How we feel about this, man? How you feel about the Browns organization actually speaking out in public about they made a big mistake on Watson?
Right. But here's the thing. When you come out and you do a press conference and go, we made a mistake on Watson, you're saying something that everybody already knows. We've known it for 3 years. You're not giving us breaking news. We told you. You're not telling no news like, you know what, we took a big swing. He said it like, well, we took a big swing and we missed. You didn't just miss. You missed and you blew out your knee, your elbow, and everything else. That's how bad you missed. Like they missed so bad that you can't say Deshaun Watson is stealing money. They gave him the contract. They signed this dude knowing the baggage that he had coming with him.
Wait, before they got him, he was a top QB. Well, it was after all the massages and all the craziness, but he was still a top QB.
A top QB or a really good QB. He wasn't a top QB. He had one really big season in Houston. It's not like he was a prolific guy who had 5 seasons of 30-plus touchdowns.
We got to think this was like before Burrow and all of them started getting into taking over the league. But Deshaun was there. He was there.
He was pretty good. Let's not act like he was Lamar. Like he was pretty good. He was pretty good. Let's not. And look, let's keep it a buck. Since he's been in Cleveland, garbage. Garbage.
I don't think he even played.
When he's played, garbage. Like
see what I'm saying? Look, even could try. Look, bona fide top. For what?
No, Gatrell, stop it. Top 5
for the spot. You gotta think about where it was at, though. He was up there.
Go back and look at the season, his best season, and tell me he was a top 5 quarterback. If he was a top 5 quarterback, Kyler Murray is a top 5 quarterback.
Kyler was in the talks.
Kyler Murray is not a top 5 quarterback.
Before Kyler Murray started wanting to get too invested in Call of Duty and stuff, man, he could have been a dog. He could have been up there.
Nah, he look, when you're that small, what you have is limited success. You know what I mean? When somebody got to boost you up to see over the line of scrimmage, you're only going to be but so good. I think Kyler Murray is exciting. He's fun to watch. You will never, ever win a Super Bowl if Kyler Murray is your quarterback. And Deshaun Watson is a close second. Maybe what it was is once the massages went away, his talent went away.
No, around the time when Dak, Carson Wentz, all of them was running for top quarterback around that time before Carson started getting hurt and got in his feelings because Nick Foles took over being better than him in the playoffs and hurt his feelings. But Deshaun was in that spotlight right there.
For what, a year? He had a year? I mean, am I missing something? He might have had 2 good seasons.
Oh,
right.
Man.
So that's one of those really funny things when people go, he finished 3rd in the MVP. I think somebody said that about what's old boy to play. You just mentioned his name. For the Eagles, the quarterback.
Carson.
Right. Carson Wentz, I think he finished 3rd too when he blew out his knee. Like,
he did, but he got hurt. But
right, he got hurt. But I'm just making a point.
He was bona fide 1.
But if your claim to fame is you came in 3rd in MVP one time, that's like somebody talking about an actor and going, you know him from the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama. Like, that's what that is. That's what that is. That don't mean anything. That don't mean anything.
So your boy, head coach of the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, was on media day, man. They was asking about the rumors of him being in the hot seat. He said, put me in the Nick Sirianni hot seat, man. I want to be in the hot seat. How you feel about this guy's comments compared to his team talent right now?
I feel like he's saying all the right things. He's trying to look, he's putting on a good face, but if you're in the Sirianni hot seat, the hot seat was win it all or get fired, right? No, I'm just saying, like, that's a really hot seat. If Mike McDonald was to sign up for that, he's probably gonna get fired because
I don't know. You think he was joking or he's dead? I don't know about Mike McDaniel, man. He be joking sometimes. I don't know if he's serious.
Look, we just talked about quarterbacks. I'll ask you: do you think Tua is a franchise quarterback?
If Tua wasn't so injury prone, I think he could be a good quarterback for a team. Ryan Tannehill was a great game manager for a team, man.
I like the way you word that, though. So you didn't actually answer the question. The answer to the question is no, he's not a franchise quarterback, right? That's what you said. And Contrell said, what did he say? Watching the Niners for the past decade has made you forget what good QB.
Oh, that's tough.
I can take a hit, but I'm a Niners fan. I can remember being in the playoffs. I can remember mattering. When's the last time the Browns mattered?
Oh man, I mean that was
never wary. Like if you want to talk about the Browns' glory days, you have to go back before there was color TV, right? You have to go back that far.
No, they was in the playoffs with Joe Flacco.
No. I didn't say in the playoffs. When was their glory days? When did they actually win?
The glory days.
Is that the glory days that made the playoffs? Because Niners they've won Super Bowls. What have they won? Like I think when the Browns won something, they didn't even call them Super Bowls. I think they called them championships. Like it was a long time ago.
Man, that's tough.
Right? We were still fighting. We were still fighting civil rights and stuff when they won. It's been a minute.
He said he wasn't even born on the Niners glory days.
That's right. You wasn't born, but here's the thing: you seen Brock Purdy. I say this: he's better than Deshaun Watson. He's better than Deshaun Watson.
I think y'all had Brock and Kaepernick who took y'all to the Super Bowl.
Cap better than Deshaun Watson too.
What? Mo, you serious?
I'm serious.
Cap is better than Deshaun Watson. Come on, man.
Whoa. What has Deshaun Watson done? What is his biggest claim to fame in his NFL career? Please tell me. Tell me what has he done? What playoff game has he ever won? Let me know. Because I thought that's how we judge you on what you do.
Team, a bad organization, but he was still carrying them, man.
I just asked the question. What has he done? What has he done? What is Deshaun Watson's signature moment in his career? Because you can say Cap had a short, you can say Cap had a short rise, but Cap has signature moments. I remember a game against Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers was the dude. What Kaepernick do? Threw for over 200 yards and ran for 176 yards and won that game. So don't compare a what if with a guy who actually did something.
Come on, man. Yo,
you know what?
2018 Deshaun Watson, man, 4,100 yards, man, 26 touchdowns, 9 picks. He was a dog. He did that.
You got to stop. You playing in the NFL. You playing in the NFL where everything is geared towards the passing game. You play 17 game seasons. Everything is quarterback friendly. You can't touch wide receivers. You can't hit quarterbacks. Throwing for 4,000 yards, that should be a given unless you're a quarterback that can run 4,000 yards like Lamar. So throwing for 4,000 yards not impressive. That ain't nothing. That don't mean nothing. Come on, man. Come on. I think Jameis threw for 4,000 yards once. He ain't a great quarterback.
Well, Jameis was just airing it out, man. They was out there getting blown out. He was just throwing the ball downfield. Hey, somebody catch it, man.
Isn't that the same?
Touchdown, it don't matter.
Isn't that the same thing that Deshaun Watson was doing, just airing it out? You said he played on a bad team. If you played on a bad team, he wasn't worried about winning.
Before Deshaun did the thing, man, he wasn't throwing double-digit picks the same way Winston was, man.
He wasn't throwing for 35. He wasn't throwing for 35, 40 touchdowns either. Look, I get it. We're gonna say that had he not got massages, he would have been a great quarterback. Like, well, guess what? He liked massages.
Oh, man.
I would argue. When's the last time Kaepernick played? Like 8-9 years ago? It's been a minute, right? Maybe 10 years.
Oh, it's been a long time, man.
Right. I'm just saying that the Kaepernick right now that's walking around with the Jim Brown afro.
Don't you say it, man.
I bet he's better than Deshaun Watson right now. He's better than he's better than this current puddle of Deshaun Watson right now. Better than him right now.
Oh man. So many topics, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a pleasure as usual for you showing up for us and Wire to Wire Network. I'm Mo, appreciate you, brother, man. You always a pleasure to be with, man. Mo, closes out.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Make sure you check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network, we appreciate you guys.